Words are so powerful. People say that all the time. We know this, but sometimes we still use words or phrases that are negative. We don't even realize it. So today I'm going to share three that we, things that we all say a lot that are at least subtly negative and show you ways to make them into something much more positive. So I'm gonna outline them for you real quick, and then we're gonna break it down. First one is have to. I have to go to the store. I have to go to work. I have to pay bills. We're gonna switch that to get to. The other one is busy. And a lot of people don't think of this as negative when you're like, I'm so busy. Oh, my day is so busy. I have such a busy week. We're gonna switch busy to full. That's one that changed my life. And then the last one is I can't. You can always turn that around to how can I? So let's start with the first one I have to. This, I kept catch myself saying this. I have to get this done. I have to pay this bill. I have to get here. I have to get there. I have to take Tyson out. Whatever. Have to sounds like a chore. When all of these things are privileges. I have to walk Tyson. I get to walk my adorable dog. Have to pay bills. We get to exchange money for amazing things, electricity, a place to live. I mean, come on, pay our credit cards, which we might have used to buy some really fun things and some necessities, but we get to do this. Have to go to work? No, you get to work at a job that supports you and helps to fund your lifestyle. So anything that you have to do, that you think you have to do, you get to do it. Life is a privilege. Life is a gift. We get to move these bodies and do things and live this life like it is a privilege to be here. Let's start treating it this way. Okay, this one's really subtle. People say they're busy all the time. In fact, a lot of people really wear busy as a badge of honor. I'm so busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I used to feel like the busier I was, the better I was, particularly when I was a mom. It was like, I almost felt like there was a subtle competition, like who was the busiest? Like it was some proof that you were good. So several years ago, it was more than 5 years ago, I had a day where there was a lot on my calendar, a lot on my plate. Um, I remember I had a podcast interview, a client call. I had to go to some appointment. I can't remember what it was, but it was something outside of the house where those two were in the house. And then while I was out, I was going to meet a friend for coffee. So, and everything, the timing of all of this, it was kind of like this thing if I need to get off the call in time so I could get to my appointment. And then I need to make sure I was out of there in time to meet my friend for coffee. And then I need to be watching the time so I can get back and be ready for the podcast interview. And I was saying to myself, this day is so busy. And I was a little worried I was getting myself a little worked up that morning. Like, what if, it felt like if one thing got off, like timing wise, everything else was going to get messed up. And then I stopped myself and I said, wait, this isn't a busy day. This is a full day full of good things. I get to coach a client that I really enjoy working with. I honestly don't remember what the appointment was, but whatever. I get to meet a dear friend for coffee because this appointment took me out in her general area. I get to connect with somebody who really lights me up. And then I get to be on a podcast where I get to share my ideas, share my voice. These are all privileges. These are all things that I get to do. I don't have to do this stuff. I get to do this. This is the life that I've created. And ever since then, I really don't use the word busy, full. I have a full week full of good things. I have a full day. And honestly, I like days that aren't too compressed. Um, but I celebrate days that are full of good things. So, and then the last one, I can't. I can't afford that. I can't lose weight. Oh, I can't do that. How can I afford this? How can I do things differently and lose weight? How can I make whatever this thing is happen? I mean, I can't just as like giving up. And so many times, all it is a change of perspective. It's a way of looking at things differently. I can't afford that. How can I? First of all, is there an alternative to that thing that maybe costs less and you could get right now? Or could you change up where are you spending money? Maybe on things that aren't important that you don't have to spend so you could have that thing. Or better yet, how could you create more income and be able to easily pay for that? So I can't, how can I? How can I? Like, I can't is just a definitive, like, I'm giving up. How can I? Just ask the question. You don't even need to figure it out right away. You just say, I like that. How can I afford that? How can I get that? And then just kind of let your subconscious do some of the work and you're going to figure it out. You're going to get what you want. Can't lose weight? No. How can I lose weight? How can I look at this differently? What's worked before that I could kind of use a little differently, do a little better? What could I do differently? How can I look at this more creatively? How can I move my body more? How can I bring in more protein? How can I cut calories? So there's all these things. So again, here are these three phrases, and there are and words. There's so many more, but we switched have to get to. So like I don't, instead of I have to go to work or I have to work out, I get to. And changed busy to full instead of, oh, I'm so busy today. I have a full day. And then last, I can't, just flip that to how can I? Save and share if you found this helpful and drop any questions in the comments.